Hi, it's Victoria Lorient Fabish, holistic psychotherapist, and today I would like to talk about commitment phobia, something I see in my office very often, both from women and from men. The key, uh, the key piece is fear, is what I've got to say. And I'd like to talk about what is a commitment phobic and also some tools or some ways to start to overcome that particular really, really difficult way of being in relationship. A commitment phobe you can spot from a mile away, but it's not always obvious. The art of seduction is very much the domain of the commitment phobic person. There's a lot of that seductive pursuit, 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 really, really kind of the thrill of the hunt kind of experience, both for the man and for the woman. And once they get the person, it's like something kind of becomes a little less interesting. And they're sort of not able to hang in. They start to pick out the negative problems. They start to sort of score keep and see what negative traits can they kind of pick out in that person. And, if these negative traits, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be mindful of negative traits in other people and not sort of stay in relationships that they're not happy in. But with the commitment phobic, it's particularly acute, this seeking out the negativity in the other person. And, basically they're looking for perfection. There's a lot of perfectionism in the domain of the commitment phobic person. There's a tremendous amount of pushing and pulling. If you're in a relationship with someone who's like, I'm there, I'm there, I'm there, and then, oh, I'm not calling for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, I'm disappearing act kind of situation, you're probably in a relationship with someone who has trouble with commitment. These people are, when they're there, they're thinking at the back of their mind, I'm not here for a long time, but I'm here for a good time. So I'm going to be very seductive and very romantic and very all over this person. And then as soon as I get a whiff of they're starting to really kind of relax with me and be more human and more real and more at ease with me, I'm out of here. So that's a commitment phobic person. And they have trouble staying present. They're people who have the wandering eye, looking at other people when on a date with you. They're not focused on you. Or that's the phase when they're starting to hightail it out of there. So the commitment phobic person is someone that you will not immediately recognize as such because they're amazing storytellers. They can spin a web a story like nobody's business. And they're usually sort of covering their lies and covering their stories. And the truth is, I've worked with a lot of commitment phobic people, and they themselves are not at all in touch with their inner truth. I will ask the question, so why do you think you're doing this? And the answer invariably will be, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where this started. They're very cut off to their own emotion. And what I would say is that emotion in general is very scary for them. True, real grit, true, deep, authentic truth. Very scary for the person who's a commitment phobic. And I really just want to caution all people who are out there to not get involved with commitment phobes because they're going to get hurt. It's not going to be a pretty situation unless, of course, you yourself are a commitment phobic person and are taking some subconscious pleasure in being involved with a person who is also a commitment phobic. Because we do know that like attracts like, so that's often a likely scenario. But I also see the scenario of the commitment phobe along with the highly clingy person. It's a match made in hell. It's a match made to learn and to grow, as all relationships are, but it is a very painful match. What I want to tell you is a lot of commitment phobic people tend to grow up in volatile families, addiction families. So they're often adult children of addicts, alcoholics, etc., gamblers. They're also adult children of volatile, dysfunctional families where there was a lot of leaving and a lot of insecurity and a lot of I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow and I don't know what mood my father or mother are going to be in. So these are people who have been sort of bred, so to speak, to be constantly 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Because let's face it, that was much safer. It's a lot safer. In childhood, can you imagine a child being completely invested in their mother or father whom they cannot trust, whom they're finding themselves constantly in a state of panic? Is this going to change? Is what's going to happen? They're moving a lot. They're changing homes. They're changing schools. They're changing friends. The moods are changing. So this volatile, um, non-stable home creates a whole neural pathway belief system pattern in a person to be kind of commitment phobic. Why am I going to commit when it's only been unsafe to commit to my love relationships, to my family of origin relationships. So I would say that the source, if you really want to get over your commitment phobia, you got to go deep. You got to look at your family of origin stuff and look at the triggers and the neural pathways that you've developed as a child and into adulthood to see where have you developed a benefit to being a commitment phobic. In other words, what is the source of your deep fear of all investment in relationship? My opinion is that relationship provides us with a forum to learn the most, to grow. I'm not saying that being single, you don't learn a lot, but in a relationship, you really learn the fine qualities of getting through boredom, emotional boredom, sexual boredom, really allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to be open, to be insecure in front of your partner, to feel a sense of deep trust. These are qualities that are tremendously growth oriented for a soul. Our soul looks to find opportunities to become more vulnerable, more open, more trusting, um, less suspicious, less with an agenda to hightail it out of there. You know, we are as souls very much relationship oriented, and I think that in relationship we tend to grow the most, and we tend to work our chops, our tools, our spiritual lessons most profoundly. So for all of you people who are involved in relationships with a commitment phobic person, it's a pain oriented journey. So I don't recommend it. Okay. Very, very painful. And for all of you who are commitment phobic and want to get over this, you need to engage in deep therapy to look at your family of origin stuff, because clearly, if you had a choice, you probably wouldn't be doing this, because I work with many of you who answer the question, why are you doing this, with a big I don't know. So the consciousness level isn't there. And so you got to get conscious. You've got to commit to becoming very in touch with what it is that's making you act in ways that clearly are hurting other people and hurting yourself. Because many commitment phobic people have found the perfect person, but have just created a laundry list of why to leave. And it's one of these instincts to get the fight flight instinct is in. It's greener on the other side, it's better over there, it's more whatever over there. So the present moment isn't really what they're looking to engage in. And frankly, a commitment phobic person, you know what, you got to engage in the present moment, right here, right now, the person in front of you, especially those of you who are in childbearing ages, who want to start to build a life with somebody but just aren't able to because of the commitment phobic patterns that are just taking over your life. And I submit to you that if you're commitment phobic, you're not operating from an adult perspective, you're operating from a young child perspective, who has learned very, very clearly that the better way to be in life is to not commit, is to not be strongly held down by some person. And those of you who are listening are going, yeah, that makes sense. But really, the true experience, excuse me, the true experience of life that's rich is engaging in relationship. I'm just getting my water here. Sorry. Okay, so as usual, I'm asking for your comments and questions. Ask Victoria at rogers.com. Keep them short, keep them brief, and let's engage in this dialogue. Have a great day.